What's up, y'all? It's your girl Star Chuchi here to shine a little light on the dark ass situation. The Great Awakening. Let's talk about it. So, the opposite of being asleep is to be awake, right? So you never know that being as though you're walking around, you're talking, you're eating, you're communicating with others, you believe that that is the state of being awake. But it's not. And it blows your mind once you realize what the whole awakening is a lot to take in. So a lot of you that's just waking up, because we are in the great awakening period, so it's a lot of people waking up right now. So what I before I go into this message, I would like to tell you guys to stay strong, stay consistent, meditate, don't stop meditating, sun gaze, get those downloads, and do what your job is, whatever your job is here on this planet. Don't lose hope, don't lose faith, and do not judge the sheeple, because we too were sheep at a point in time. So you don't want to become conscious and aware and then look at other people as if they're a little retarded, because we always those same retards. So some of the things that I'm about to say to the people who may have not experienced awakening yet may seem a little crazy. In fact, half my videos may seem downright ridiculous, or like that I just lost my mind, because I'm saying things that you've never heard before. I'm saying things that seems undoable. Like, I mean, some of the shit that's happening is definitely, it's like unthinkable. You would never think that someone even come up with these type of cruelties to mankind, but it's happening. So I woke up. I've been semi-conscious all my life. I've always, my intuition, like my third eye has been cracked since I was born. Like, I've always been able to see through the bullshit. Like, could nobody get nothing over on me? Like, I'm always been on it. Always. And at one point I felt like bad about it. I felt like something was wrong with me because of it, because I could always see stuff that other people couldn't see. And then once I got older, I realized that they begin to see things later on. I would see that somebody ain't shit right from the rip. It would take others, others would have to be burnt by this individual in order for them to see, what they was working with. So, I've been lucky enough to have those have that intuition. However, intuition and full-fledged consciousness is two big different things. Okay, so the end of January is when I woke up. So I'm 40 years old, but I'm just like an infant when it comes down to this conscious world, because I'm starting from scratch. And the crazy thing about starting from scratch is you got to realize that everything that you've been told has been a lie. So you have to delete all your everything, all your old knowledge, because you swear that you're super smart and savvy, until you wake up. So you got to delete all those old teachings from birth, and you got to reteach and reprogram yourself. And I didn't just have to reteach and reprogram myself. I had to reteach and introduce these new ideas to my children. Gratefully, one of them was already conscious before me. How about that? My 18-year-old Moosh, he was already on it. I'm telling him, did you pray? Did you make sure you prayed to Jesus? And he just like, I meditated. And I'm like, meditated? And I mean, I was downright hurt, thinking that he was just turning his back on Jesus. Like, why would he do this? Like, I taught him to love Jesus. Like, we own the church. Like, come on. But, he was just ahead of the game. So, yeah, January, when all this COVID stuff started, I began to try to seek refuge in my religion. I'm like, all right, it seems like, because the Bible tells you about the Bible is the most fearful thing, okay, that you can ever be introduced to. No bullshit. It teach you that hell is wrong, sex is wrong, everything is wrong, everything is wrong, 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 wrong. So you can't possibly be right enough to make it to heaven. You know what I mean? So that's what I was just like. I'm going to hell because I mean I like sex and I'm divorced and so I'm just like I can't have no more sex. I can't like have no fun. I can't do this. I can't do that because everything that I like to do is not, in accordance to the law of this Bible and me making it to heaven. And I don't like the summer that much. So just the thought of me burning in hell which had me like floored. I was just devastated. I started to be like have anxiety and depression just because I'm just like overwhelmed with this whole going to hell thing. I just really wasn't ready. Wasn't ready for hell. So I prayed. I was praying to Jesus at the time, and I just was like, I fast. I fast for like 2 weeks, and I was just like, I want to do what you want me to do, Lord. I want to be like that servant. I want to, like, I was trying to make it to heaven. Okay. So I was like on bended knee with the tears and the snotty nose, like, God, help me. But I also said in that prayer, I was like, I'm not sure if I'm praying to the right person, but I've been taught to pray to Jesus. I do not want to be judged for that. So if I'm praying to the wrong entity, please reveal it to me. And that, listen, you got to be careful what you ask for because you will receive it. Okay. So within the next few days, I began to get all these downloads, right? I picked up the Bible and started reading it, something that I never really did. I would just take the pastor's word for it, and my dad and my grandfather was a bishop, so I just basically took their word for everything. But I picked up the Bible and started reading it. It's the most I ever read the Bible in all my 40 years. You hear me? I'm reading this thing, and it's just like all these scriptures is just not making sense to me. Like it's like what kind of, what kind of sense does this make that God, the one that can walk on water and create every single thing. He created everything, right? But yet he's jealous. They say over and over again, he's a jealous God, jealous God. And I'm like, why is God so jealous of his own creation? Like he made everything. So let's just say, and then it has gods with an S all through the book. So if it's only one true living God, who is all these gods that they talking about in the book? And where is they? Why we didn't have an option to worship them versus worship Jesus? Like all these things was crossing my mind, right? And so, and then also too, before I go into these scriptures, I'm just like, why don't God come down here and talk to me? Like, if y'all say that God talked to y'all, y'all lying. Y'all are fucking lying. Stop it. Seriously, playing mind games with your own self. I'm not trying to beat up the Christians because I was one. But what I am trying to tell the Christians is that we've been lied to at an alarming rate, right? So this is a man that can walk on water. This is a man that can feed a whole tribe off of one loaf of bread and 2 fish or something like that, right? But he can't come down here and talk to us. If you ask yourself a question, oh God, what do you want me to do? And then you answer yourself, that's one thing. Because that's you answering yourself. That's not the voice of God that you heard. If it was, let me hear tell me what he said and how he sound. I would love to know how Jesus sound. I would love to. Do he sound like Barry White? Do he sound like what do Jesus sound like? But that's what I'm saying. It's all the foolery and the trickery and the things that's been implanted in our brain. So anyway, I started to get these downloads, read these scriptures. I read Ephesians 4 and 5 or something like that say, slaves, obey your masters and have trembling in your heart for them, so you can have trembling in your heart for them the same way you would Christ. Slaves, obey your masters, have trembling in your heart for them the same way you would Christ, right? So I'm saying, why would God, the Almighty God, want me to have trembling in my heart for another man, you know, another man. And then I asked, someone, what does that mean? And a pastor, and he said, oh, that means that you have to honor the laws of the land. You have to, if your boss wants you to be there a certain time, you got to be there a certain time. But that's not what the book say. But see, one thing about those pastors is they are very, very trained in how to finesse the Bible. They're Bible finessers. That's why they go to theologian schools. See, you shouldn't have to go to school when it comes to God. God, you shouldn't have to go to school, and you shouldn't have to pay for God. This is something that is this is our whole being, our whole I am, right? And yet we gotta pay tithes to this entity. Where's that money going? It's not going to God. You know what I mean? The pastors don't gotta pay no taxes. So where is this bread going? And then who's getting the money for the Bible, and who made the Bible, and all these questions started to overwhelm me, and I began to get the answers to all of them. And here I am, denounce the whole Christianity thing. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I know the truth. I know that the Council of Nicaea created Christianity. They created religion in a whole. Okay, they made the Bible. The Bible is a spinoff of the Quran is a spinoff of the Bible. So once you debunk the Bible and everything that it stands for, you debunk every religion, Catholics all the way down. So you know, the awakening was religion was one part of the awakening. Religion was one part. Then you had the whole finding out that there's things to control the weather, that we're not even supposed to have a winter. Like that's why the trees die in the fall. That's why they die. The trees are just like us. They have the same genetic makeup as us, except for they have one separate thing, and that's we have one thing different than them, and that's the melanin versus the magnesium. So if we switched out the magnesium for the melanin, we would be green. The trees would be black. But they have protons, neutrons. They have a consciousness and all that, and they die every winter. So they lay dormant every winter. The leaves fall off and all those things. You already know how it go. But that's because there's not supposed to be a winter. So you got things like that. Then you find out that they're putting chemicals. I tell you guys all the time, they're putting chemicals in the water. Please stay away from tap water. Stay away from fluoride toothpaste with fluoride in it, because those things calcify your pineal gland. But let me try to stay on track, because I be trying to fill you guys up with so much information, and I only got 15 minutes to do so. So, the whole thing about this awakening process that I'm still currently in is realizing that we've been lied to, and accepting it, and then realizing what you can do about it. See, you're tight and you're nervous and you're scared. That's what they're doing to you. They're trying to implant fear into you or whatever. But once you become conscious, it's very freeing. It's actually, I never felt so good in my life, y'all. I'm not even going to lie to you. I have zero fear when it comes down to hell, because I know that it's bullshit. I'm working on my spirituality so I can ascend up out of this whole universe right here, this planet right here, rather, into the higher dimensions. I'm just a high frequency type of girl, and this ain't working for me. So because if you want to think about hell, if you think about the hell that they talk about in the Bible, they're talking about this place right here. And Jesus and Satan that they're talking about in the Bible is all referring to the government. That's our boss. That's who's running things. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna make a part 2 to this video, because I couldn't cram it all in. But awakening is consciousness, being conscious of what's going on, knowing that there's all types of laws and acts. I'll talk about it in part 2. All right. But for now, I love y'all. I gotta go.